remind you about pregnancy and breastfeeding can really mess with hormones. So try to be understanding here. Now, this one's a bummer. In the first list was antidepressant meds. Mm-hmm. Well, this one is psychological issues. So the issues can make you not have a sex drive, and so can the stuff that helps you. That's just not fair.
That's not fair. Although that works for that, that's not just women there too. I mean, that's both. That would be gender neutral sort of a concept. If you're having anxiety or if you're having, psychological issues, it doesn't make any difference whether you're male or female.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
that's true. Yeah, I didn't think of it that way. You always come up with that stuff. I thought this was a New York Post headline. I thought this was so funny. And the article's actually pretty good and sadly kind of probably very true. Childish men are to blame for women having kids later in life. Let that one sink in for a sec. Childish men.
Okay, that sounds rather broad and
well, basically
vague.
The gist of it is
like in a clickbait headline.
Yeah, no, it's actually a really interesting story. And there's people like a girl, 34-year-old, she works in finance, and her boyfriend doesn't feel settled in his career, so she's freezing her eggs to wait for him to feel like he's ready, even though she feels ready. Then a 41-year-old single woman who's a senior marketing executive, she's 8 months pregnant. She never found Mr. Right, so said, screw it, I want a baby, I'm going to have it myself. Now, you took a different route. You chose to adopt, which is awesome, too. Either is fine.
Yeah, it had nothing to do with whether there was a guy in my life or not. But, it's not unknown that even for women in this country that we have an extended adolescence.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, the guys know that they can have kids late in life. So it's not, So, the one gal is freezing her eggs, but that still doesn't mean that, the amount of work that's involved after that. Personally, I'd say, if one's ready and another one's not, bye.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why are you prolonging this?
Yeah. Well, this is called the delayer boom. Mm-hmm. Which I thought was kind of an interesting terminology, and really I was just talking about this with someone else the other day. It was unusual when my mom had me in 1966 that to have a 32-year-old woman having babies, that was very late back then. Now it's when a lot of people start.
Yes, I'm like, well, that's fairly ordinary.
Yeah, now it is. It's just kind of funny. How, things totally and completely shift. But over half of women aged 25 to 29 are childless, and a record 30.8% of women aged 30 to 34 also have not given birth, mostly college educated, mostly single. Kind of interesting. So the story is about the delayer boom and the fact that the average adult woman is ready sooner than men. And this was kind of interesting too. There was a Pew Research study done back in 2012 saying 2/3 of millennial women say being successful in a high-paying career or profession is of high importance, whereas, check this out, only 59% of young men do. So the women are more, they've had a shift. What do you think of that?
Well, they've finally have a chance. So they got to, of course, it's going to go up because the choice wasn't there before. At one point, it will level off because, we'll have more, more decisions and stuff like that. But I just never got I became a parent late in life because part of me went, I was like, I don't really see myself being a parent. I don't see and then
you were in your 30s.
Yeah, 35.
You? Yeah. That's
and then I went, and suddenly I went, I think I do. And it was possible. And actually it's becoming, international adoption is tough. It's tough in general, but it was becoming acceptable for single women to adopt, but it was still really, really tough for single men to adopt. And a lot of them could only adopt like kids that were like 5 and older and stuff like that. And I think it's, when someone's ready to be a parent, and they're making all of the overtures to do that. Think about it. They're choosing. That's a lot of work.
Yeah.
So if someone says, I want to, honestly, I want to try this versus, oops.
Yeah.
There's give that person for the most part, give that person a kid. There was an enormous amount of work involved. to do that.
Yeah. No, it's just kind of an interesting, the delayer boom is what they're calling that. Okay. I laughed my butt off. The headline, nobody's having sex during the week. Nobody's having sex during the week.
Well, it might be because they're exhausted.
Well,
or their kids have about 1,000 things to do, or someone's working 2 or 3 jobs. I mean, for Pete's sake. And if you're not, maybe your partner is.
Yeah. This roundup was used a bunch of different things, including but not limited a 2014 study that was in the 2014 study that was in the Journal of Sexual Medicine, but also a recent British study. But basically, they analyzed also purchase data and said that Sunday is the most popular days for buying condoms. So that's when they think that they're all having, just because they buy the condoms on Sunday doesn't mean that's when they're using them. Sunday's when a lot of people get their errands done. Duh.
Yeah, that's a shopping day.
I know. I mean, I'm like, whatever. But they did say that this, the Journal of Sexual Medicine study did say that single women had the highest percentage of having sex Monday through Thursday, while women in relationships were more likely to be doing it on the weekends. Thoughts?
Well, if you're okay, are they saying single child-free women?
No, they didn't specify.
Okay, but okay, I'm going to assume it's child-free women that have time in the evenings. Because, let's see, there's homework and feed your kids and do their laundry, and then there's soccer and lacrosse and a music lesson, and then there's probably a meeting at the school for this or that. Yeah, there's not a lot of stuff happening if you've got kids.
I just think it's funny. See, it's hard to find an interesting proposal story that's not just so ridiculously over the top, right?
At least the folks have, the majority... The first couple of years when I was going to Twins games, almost every kiss cam, there was a proposal. So I have not
Did they all go well?
They seem to be, yes. Okay. So far, there has not been, I've been to a few games, and I have not seen in quite a number of, like probably the last 5 or 6 games, not a single proposal. So
okay. Wonder what that means. Delayer boom. No. So this guy in Australia wasn't quite sure that he was ready to pop the question, but he found a ring that he really liked, so he wasn't ready to give it to her. So he made her a necklace out of wood. Okay, we'll put a link to this. And he put the diamond ring inside one of the beads on the wood necklace. She happened to love it. She wore it for over a year. And the only very scary time was when they were flying somewhere, and he was afraid that the security scanner would pick it up and he was going to have to, do an airport proposal because da-da.
Oh, yeah.
But it managed to stay.
It wasn't enough, yeah.
Right, and there was no incidents all year long, and he finally picked the time of the day and said they were in Scotland, and he said, hey, let me borrow the necklace. I want to take a picture of it on the rocks. And she's like, oh, okay. And he goes over and smashes a bead and surprises her, and she was thrilled. She said yes, but she was like, I really loved that necklace, and now you mashed it. And I'm thinking he can probably make her.
If he made one, he can probably make another.
Yeah. But isn't that cute?
Okay, that's
And then you find out you've been wearing it for a year. That'd be kind of wild, wouldn't it? I like it. I think that's neat.
Yeah. And she's like, I was like, but I really like that necklace. But obviously she did if she wore it for a year.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, oh, that's sweet, honey. Oh, the clasp broke last week. I haven't had a chance to fix it sort of necklace.
Or she didn't lose it. Like, I mean, that's what when I'm reading this, I'm like, oh God.
Yeah.
I hope he has insurance. Okay. This made me laugh so hard because it made me think of Mrs. Sin.
Okay. Are there waffles?
No waffles in this one, but it does harken to a term that she used 2 years ago. Unicorn. And it's single women that swing, basically. And they either, regularly engage with threesomes, or they engage in polyamorous sort of relationships with another couple. And if you recall, I think this topic actually came up on the show that you were traveling, that she was there. There's a lot more single men that come to these things. And she said, the single women that come to the weekend parties or whatnot, we call them unicorns. And we thought that was so damn funny, but it's a thing. And so there's this whole article about it. We'll post the link for you if you want to read it. But there's kind of the story of a woman who is a former unicorn named Meredith Clark. And she talks about kind of what the emotional makeup is like of somebody that does this for an extended period of time and what the relationships are like. It's pretty interesting.
I sort of giggle over that because I happen to know quite a few people who've actually worn a unicorn costume out to the Minnesota Renaissance Festival. So every time this comes up, I just sort of giggle. Yeah, this was not their. Yeah, they had a completely different concept of a unicorn, a little more literal.
Yeah, with the horn in the thing.
Yes, with the big puppet head and the whole deal.
Oh God. Mm-hmm. Okay, if you guess this, I'm going to be so bummed out.
Okay.
Do you know what 1.2 million British men would give up sex for? What would they trade sex for?
To be in the cars on that one show, Top Gear or something?
Okay. Not a bad guess, but it's to not have gray hair, to keep, and you know what cracked me up in this whole story? It was, they didn't talk about baldness. Gray hair almost sounded like that was more terrifying than just being bald to these guys.
Well, there's such a thing as hair dye.
Well, no, I know.
But I suppose, if you're a hairy dude, that means hairy chest hair and hairy back hair, gray back hair and gray pubic hair and gray leg hair. Yeah. Yeah.
And if you're my boyfriend,
which
gray
is
eyebrows.
really, which is really strange because I'm flip through most women think that the older guys with that gray hair are pretty good looking. So I'm trying to figure out.
I know.
Is there something here that I missed?
Isn't that funny? Like, I really thought that was odd. Yeah. And 56%.
I mean, I could see losing their beer gut or being more physically fit,
but gray hair's so easy.
Yeah.
But I don't think guys are as much as open to that idea. They don't see themselves doing it on a regular basis, maintaining it, and the whole thing.
Yeah, my dad, it's really funny because his beard turned gray, and before his hair did, and everyone was like, why do you dye your hair? He was like, why would I dye my hair and not my beard?
Yeah,
it was absurd. He kept his dark hair, for a long, long time.
Yeah,
and it was just hilarious because his beard was coming in grayer and grayer. And I unfortunately have inherited some of that. See, I've got a little laser, but the laser doesn't get the gray hairs.
Okay, because I can't see them.
Yes, the joy of my heritage is hairy Italians and hairy Germans.
Well, was he one of those guys that needed a beard for some reason?
No, he didn't need a beard, but he had a coarse beard and pretty soft skin, and so he hated shaving. It was just irritating and annoying, and so he pretty much had a full beard, entirely. In the 70s, there was a goatee period that was that was hilarious when we look back on it, especially with the big shades and all that.
Oh yeah,
but he went back to a full beard.
My dad and my brother both keep. Well, my father did. He's deceased, but my brother's still around. They keep closely cropped beards because. It creates the illusion of a chin.
Yeah.
They don't have that chin, whatever. And it actually really, I think it helped their parents a lot. I really liked it. And gray.
Yeah. Beard, no beard. It doesn't really, if someone's happy with the way they look. I mean, I've people joke about like 70s porn stashes and stuff like that, but I've known a couple guys that just for, grins just decided to go for the stash. I'm like, it actually looks pretty good on them. I mean, just, but other folks, you just went, no facial hair, but it's never been one way or another. It's never been a big thing for me.
Yeah. Carl's had a beard now for, my gosh, 6 years, I want to say. Mm-hmm. He didn't when we first started dating, and he grew his beard in, and he plays with it every once in a while, or he'll screw up. Mm-hmm. So he'll do, different, different things. But I mean, if he shaved himself completely clean today, the beard would be back by Friday. Mm-hmm. So it's like he's one of those. But yeah, I like it, and he keeps it really short. Can you guess the percentage of men that would give up sex for $1 million, though? What percentage do you think that is?
Okay, what was the
give up sex for $1 million?
Okay, what particular? Just men in general?
Mm-hmm.
Just only $1 million?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So how many? What do you think it would take?
38. I
56.
But it's just $1 million.
I know it used to be a big deal. Yeah, it's not really a big deal anymore.
See, when I hear like million, I think of the one movie with Mike Myers.
Yeah,
where it's like
Mini Me.
Yeah, it just you're just like I mean, go for $1 billion. I mean, if you're going in hypothetical land, let's go with.